there was days, it sounds horrible, but like I'd be on my way to a meeting and I think if I'm across the street, if I get myself hit by a taxi, I get slightly injured. It's not like, you know, it sounds horrible, but if I can just like have an excuse to not show up to this, I think I need to just breathe.
Cleansing the vibe in here and setting an intention before we start that your interview will help anyone watching at home who's either starting a business or thinking about leaving their current role and starting the next chapter.
Yeah. Okay, so Bianca, Dale, tell us who you are, what do you do?
I'll go first. I'm Bianca, co-founder of Command Collective, which is our PR and social media agency. We specialize in luxury real estate, design, and lifestyle.
And I am Dale, co-founder of Command Collective, and as Bianca I just explained, we specialize in real estate, luxury lifestyle, just really everything that touches the built environment.
So thank you guys for joining us today. We're so excited to sit down with you, share your story. So prior to forming their own company, Command Collective, which was actually founded during the pandemic,
Indeed.
You both were working in corporate roles, working for other companies in the same industry. So take us back to your rock bottom moment where you really decided to take that leap of faith and start your own.
So Dale and I met working at our last agency, and we come from agency backgrounds, big and small, so we've kind of run the gamut with that. And anyway, we met at our last agency, we kind of clicked, became friends, like work wives, some would say. And we worked really well together. So I think for me personally, maybe similar to Dale's experience, the rock bottom was a culmination of the last like 2 to 3 years of my professional career. I felt like I was in a hamster wheel, I guess I would describe it, and it's sort of built to keep you in it for like 10 or more years and working up to that like position, that prize. And I was thinking like, what is that at the end of the day? Like, where is that going to get me if I just keep on keeping on for another few more years, right?
And then like the burnout hits.
Yeah, and the burnout had been at that point, but it really felt like COVID was like sort of accelerating the process and gave us the courage to, and sort of there was no choice left at that point, just to really break free of that and do what we wanted to do, just more of our own thing.
And so before we get onto your rock bottom, like describe what that burnout was, because I think we've all been there at some point in our lives. Like for you, was it like physical symptoms? Was it just dreading waking up every day to go to this role? Like how did you feel?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because it was a combination of physical, mental. I was bringing it home, like it affected my relationship, my marriage. I didn't have a good time when I was out with my friends, because I was always thinking of like, what do I have to do at work? I have to do this, I'm on deadline for that, and then, you know, you're doing all of this and there's like I feel like a lot of companies, and not to put companies down, but a lot of it's designed to suppress you even more and like really like hone in on those feelings and make it feel like, you know,
this pressure.
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it in like proper English to you, but it felt like I was really like, I could not take another year or another month of that feeling, like it, from crying in the bathroom to like self-medicating. There was days, and it sounds horrible, but like I'd be on my way to a meeting and I think if I'm across the street, if I get myself hit by a taxi, I get slightly injured. It's not like, you know, it sounds horrible, but if I can just like have an excuse to not show up to this, I think I need to just breathe and just like.
Just put me out for like 2 weeks.
But guess what? Like even in that case, you'd be thinking about like, what do I have to do next? Like I'm just drowning. It felt like drowning, and it was physical and emotional, mental, and it affected beyond just me. It affected like my husband, my friend, like the people that were around me. So that was fun.
There was never any shut off.
Right.
Dale, what about for you? Like, what was that rock bottom? Is there a certain moment that you remember just feeling the same, drowning in work?
For sure. Working through COVID, as many people experienced, salaries were reduced. Client retainers were reduced, and everyone was kind of under more of a microscope to perform. Meanwhile, the media landscape was really concerned with covering COVID, not luxury real estate.
Right.
But clients didn't understand that. So we still have to kind of like adapt and adjust and tell the stories, but it was shrinking media, less story opportunities, more critical clients, and in a bigger agency world, it's just the higher ups, supervisors, whoever is kind of overseeing your work, and it's not just the client that you have to please, but also the bosses, because then, you know, it's all.
And then sometimes that works against your work when you do something the way you think your boss wants to see it, as opposed to even the client at the end of the day. So it's just like a constant struggle, and no one wins.
Yeah. And the pressure of going through that and the workload was just even more critical and more challenging. I got to a point where, again, I was bringing it home with me, and it was just always giving me so much anxiety that, well, why can't I perform to this level? Why can't I get this done? And I have to get this done. And even when you would have talks with the supervisor or colleagues and say like, hey, I'm really hitting a wall here, it was more of, oh, you're showing a weakness, rather than this is how we can help support you like through this. So it just got to be such a defeating atmosphere that I started to dislike the industry I used to love. I mean, I love what I do. I love PR. I love real estate.
It just makes you question, like, do
Yeah.
I really like this? Yeah, you do. It's just all of the other factors that play into it that you don't like.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, what can we change here
to improve our mental health.
and to still do what we love, but like not deal with, you know, the 3 things that we hate about it, or whatever the case.
So was there like an aha moment where you guys just looked at each other and said, we gotta do this together?
Yep.
Yeah, well, we'd probably get in trouble for saying this. It doesn't really matter now. We always like would go out for like a coffee and think, what if we started our own company?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you're being silly. But
And I had people and some clients mention it to me for years. Why don't you do this on your own? And then it finally felt right. Found my partner in crime. I was like, if I can't do this on my own, I can certainly do this with you. And it's been great having that support system there. We're kind of each other's yin and yang. But yeah, we just kind of looked at each other one day. We're like, we don't have to put up with this anymore. We can improve our overall health, and
we're actually good enough to do this. I mean, it took a lot of convincing each other and like from outside, like our friends and family saying like Dale said, like, why don't you just do it yourself? And we're like, no, we're not quite there yet, but actually we were there. So that's another thing, like that fighting that suppression. Like, you're not good enough. You're just gonna work towards a certain amount of years or whatever, some kind of experience under your belt. I mean, you did have it. You should have experience, but it doesn't have to be
like second guess yourself.
specific. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that imposter syndrome where you're just
Exactly.
thinking like, oh, once I have X, Y, Z, then I'll be ready. And then
You're never gonna have X, Y, and Z
Yeah.
together.
working together, you guys say you're each other's yin and yang. Definitely can relate to
Yeah.
that. Polar opposites, but also same brain.
Accurate.
So how would you say your strengths and weaknesses play out? How does that work in your current roles now as business partners?
Go first.
I would say Bianca is so structured and deadline oriented and task oriented and detailed and very much like, but this is the process, this is how we have to get it done. I was like, thanks mom, thank you for reminding me the things that I need to accomplish today. I'm more of the, I guess I tend to be very like sort of like free flowing and creative and very conversational and just kind of like that a little bit more like out of the box type of like personality in mind. And Bianca's like, that's great, but we have to make sure we do the things that are in the box also.
Yeah, I need a list. The list needs to get checked off. I have to write everything down because I can't remember anything for shit at this point anymore.
Sounds familiar.
There's so much going on too. Like I have to write everything. Like that's just how I've always been, and it just works well because Dale's so good at like thinking of the genius ideas like on the fly. Rather, like it just works. And I would say like anyone looking to start a business or like figuring out if you should do it on your own or find a partner, having a partner, it makes it way better. Just a person that has the same goals as you, they're going through the same exact thing you're going through. You really can truly bounce ideas off of each other and be able to like lift each other up when one's down, the other one's up. Like we're not always feeling like so motivated. It's hard to stay motivated, especially during COVID. Shit, it's hard, you know?
Yeah.
You have bad days, you have good days.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a partner that you can trust and you can
And
talk
like,
to.
like as different as we are, kind of, we're also like the same mind, like the same.
Yeah.
We have the same kind of like mentality, ethos, and the same sort of like idea of like how PR should operate, how you should deal with media, how you should deal with clients, just how you deal with people, and what are the values you should have. So it works well.
I totally agree with that, and I think obviously Ange and I can fully relate. It's nice to have somebody pick up the slack if you're having an off day or vice versa, and helping each other stay motivated, I think, especially during COVID.
Yeah. And to that point, like we've both gone through like death and loss and breakups and whatever, like crazy stuff throughout like
A lot of life.
since starting our company, and like
A lot of
there were
life
days
things.
where one of us couldn't function properly and the other one would be like, don't worry, don't even fucking worry for a second.
And like,
it's
don't
fine.
you dare pick up your computer or answer an email like
Yeah,
that.
like it's fine. So it
I
feels
need
good
that.
to be like someone can hold down the fort, and it doesn't feel like you're kind of like you're slacking off or in any way, which you tend to feel that way when you're working with like a larger company.
Like, well, I don't really care what's going on in your personal life. The clients are still.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys decided that you needed to take this leap together. What steps did you take to actually make that reality?
Oh, well, I said, Bianca, what do we need to do?
Step one proposal, which is
Phone a friend.
like, well, so you know, we lost and let go of our jobs, and then I did some freelance stuff. And my husband's always like said, you just do this on your own. Like, come on, stop fucking around. Like, just you can do this. Like, you're more than capable. And he's like, you should partner up with Dale. Like, shut up. You don't know anything about my business. You're an accountant. But he actually knew the people that know nothing about what you do actually know the most. Like, they give you the most valuable insight and information and the boost of confidence you need. But yeah, we basically decided, let's do this together. With the freelancing stuff I mentioned, because everyone was like, you should make it a little more official, you know, for tax reasons and whatnot. You never know where it can lead. So I was like, all right, I'll look into it. And then it kind of evolved into, hey Dale, why don't we just start our own company? Remember that stuff we used to talk about over coffee? So it happened, and then we just kind of, we talked to like friends that we knew that formed companies and tried to figure out if we should do an LLC, which is what we have.
Then like we referred like had some consultations with.
We talked to a lawyer and an accountant, which they will consult with you for free. So definitely reach out and get like first, second, third opinions. Talk to your friends. Chances are they know a lot more about this than you'd even expect, and are willing to help you and guide you and connect you with the resources that you need. We also use LegalZoom, which is really another great resource. That's how we did all of our paperwork as far as making it a legal business.
It's kind of like a carry.
We signed more paperwork than I signed for like to actually make my business. I'm scared. Like we had to plan out. Part of the documents are like, what happens if one of us dies, or like one of us decides we hate each other. Yeah, literally you have to plan everything out like right before, where you don't even know where anything's gonna go. But that's why trust is like key. And we always said like, you know, whatever the case, whatever happens, like we're gonna maintain that, like our vision and like stay true to you know why we even started this in the first place, and everything we've always wanted to do and tried to do for our clients even before this, and just continue doing that.
Yeah.
And just being a mentor too to like other people in the industry.
How did you guys decide on the name?
The long list on my phone.
So there was one day we did a little brainstorming over a happy hour.
Yeah, we were drunk.
Where all the best ideas happen.
Oh, yeah.
I did ask one of my friends who does graphic. He designed our logo, and he's really good with like coming up with stuff. He didn't really know anything about PR, so he's like, oh, I'll send you just like a couple of names. I'll brainstorm. So just like as a fun exercise.
I think we came up with like the collective part of it, kind of when we were brainstorming.
Yeah, the collective thing was definitely something like what do communicators and PR and digital professionals do? They connect to people, they connect clients to experiences. So we're like,
with so many other.
yeah, we always tap into who we know, right? Like we call somebody that we know to get the job done. So that's the collective part of it. And then the commands, just like the
personalities.
the commands, the
Bostage.
the demanding attention, the creating an impact, and we felt like we had defined it well. So, and one piece of advice, again, if you're starting a company, a lot of people told me, like, just don't put your name on it. It's probably better because you never know where it can go, and even the name can limit you, and then you end up changing it. So you want to start out with something that's kind of, I don't know, like all-encompassing,
Universal.
slightly vague, even,
Yeah.
but also defines what you are. You don't want anyone looking up and think, like, what the hell do they do?
Right.
Like, you want to define what you are in, like, the first, if not your title, the first sentence of your description.
When exactly did Command Collective launch? Was it like?
So I think like our official birthday was.
We were just talking about our anniversary.
Our anniversary birthday.
Yeah, because we're about to be 6 months old officially.
Like September.
Yeah.
September 1st.
It was like the week.
Yeah.
Around the same time.
So you guys were smack in the middle of pandemic when you launched. What has it been like starting a business in the middle of a global pandemic?
It's been challenging. There were so many people and former clients that, and new clients that reached out to us for proposals immediately, and we're super interested to hear what we're doing and excited that we kind of like took this venture, took the leap. But also budgets are tight, and it was the time of year where like you're winding down your annual budgets. You've kind of already allocated where that spend is going. So it's been a slow and steady process, but it was challenging at first. Just thinking like, yes, clients are gonna sign on right away, we're gonna be so busy, but it's definitely a process. And when you're dealing in times that everyone's really paying attention to budgets and when is life gonna get back to normal, what is this new normal? So there was a lot of uncertainty, but I think that gave us like a lot of opportunity to approach things in a new way.
That and just plan a little bit. Even building a website takes so much time, you guys know, like, and we did it ourselves. We didn't like we just needed something there, but I feel like that was the first step. Figuring out a name takes a lot longer than you would think. Everybody out there, as you know. And then the website, and then I think someone told me, it was like, once you have that up, you're like, everything else will be fine.
And then we have to start a launch, e-blast.
Yeah, and then we're also, in a lot of industries, you sign like NDAs and like different employee agreements. You really can't even freely do anything. There's a lot of like, it's all with attorneys and stuff to be like, okay, if you do this, you're probably fucked. So
yeah, and
there was a lot of nerves, and timing was definitely an issue. To Dale's point, like, who the fuck would want to start a business in the middle of a global crisis when everyone's struggling? And most of the population and businesses and real estate specifically, which is like a huge sector of our clientele, like that was hugely impacted.
Yeah.
So we felt like we're setting ourselves up for what could potentially
It
be
can
successful, but it's going to
go up from here, basically. If not, and it gives you a little more perspective and the ability to kind of take your time throughout the process, because you know it is a process and it's a challenging time. And how do we do this like thoughtfully without feeling like there was so much pressure kind of immediately out of the gate?
And to that point, most people don't have the luxury, the privilege, the time, the money to just quit your job and start a business. It's not that simple. And even if you do, it's still not that simple. You need money in the meantime. You have to wait for clients to pay you before you can ever pay yourself, or even think about paying yourself. So there's so many different things to think about when you are like trying to go out on your own and really do something. So there's so many like negatives to talk you out of it, or ways to talk yourself out of it.
Which I did for years also, but then it's, again, you reach the point where like it's the right time if you know you kind of have that support system there, and you might have to make a few sacrifices in the meantime. But I cannot say how much this has improved my life, my happiness, mental health. I mean, I could never imagine kind of going back to.
We can wake up and not like throw ourselves in a taxi, just get a little
Nor should anyone ever.
Go full circle. a horrible thing to say, but I cannot be the only one person that felt like has contemplated that thought.
Or you're up until 3 a.m. every Sunday night or night before a stressful meeting. Waking up at 5 a.m. or checking your email at 4 a.m.
It's different to wake up at 5 a.m. or check your email at 4 a.m. when it's
for yourself
and you have full control over it versus
someone else
doing it. And then it's kind of
because that feels like a toxic,
low risk, low reward in that regard. So.
And it feels like a toxic work atmosphere when it's really just you're so afraid because who you're reporting to internally rather than what are you really delivering to the client. And how is that impacting things that
I mean, just the way you guys talk about like your rock bottom years to now, like how different you talk about that and how like just even your vibe around it is completely different. So
it's working.
Exactly.
So we sometimes joke and like we need the time or feel stressed that we are always booked Mondays before 10 a.m. And then occasionally, if we're really stressed, we are fully booked on Mondays and Fridays, and we only have availability Tuesday through Wednesday.
I love that.
Or Tuesday through Thursday.
That literally has not worked that way since
Our Fridays are packed.
Mondays start end up being like
8:30.
Right.
But it's fulfilling because you're doing something, you're working on it, and you're waking up excited because you're like, oh my God, like this is actually something that I care about, that I'm passionate about, that's for me and what I'm building. Rather than like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get fired if I don't submit this on time or meet this deadline. It's a different kind of
hustle.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you gonna fire yourselves? No, but you're excited to like work on it and excited to like put in the hustle. So it's
going after the clients that we really want to work with. And then there is something someone said to us recently who also works hard. And again, we've always believed this ourselves, but if there's ever a client or someone you're working with that kind of is just not healthy for your environment or has unrealistic expectations or doesn't respect the relationship and the expertise of your field, then sometimes you have to say goodbye to them. So it's not always just about the money, but again, mental health and happiness and
setting everybody up for success, including not just ourselves, but our clients and their goals and whatever they hire us to do. So.
And I think that's the luxury of having your own company is if a client or an opportunity is not in alignment with your company values, you can say goodbye to them. It's not like you have this overhead where you have to.
It's literally keeping you with that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the whole pandemic, everyone's getting remote. Has the remote and working remote affected you either way starting this?
Well, we both love working in sweatpants.
Big plus. Yeah.
Oversized hoodies and some leggings.
Yep. I mean, it's business on top and then sweatpants on the bottom. We're working remote. I don't think that's another factor. Like, I don't think this would have been even born if we weren't working remote, because that offered us more time, more opportunity to like focus on this and building this up in addition to like whatever else you have going on. I feel like that's probably the case for a lot of people. And also spending time with like family, friends, and loved ones, or even like seeing my dog 24/7. He's tired of me, but I enjoy it. So like just surrounding yourself where you really want to be, what makes you happy. Light a candle, sit on your couch, where you're most inspired. Like, like a lot of great things are born out of just being in those
flexibility of not being just chained to
like
desk in an office.
And then work-wise, for a lot of what we do can be done remotely. Like face-to-face is really valuable, but it's also created opportunities in our business to connect with people we probably normally wouldn't have connected with because they're in whatever location. Or create events or opportunities where you can bring people together from all over the world. Like you guys do that all the time with your events, and we've done a lot of like virtual events, and which we feel like is definitely here to stay. But I think it's just brought about new opportunities.
Yeah, and also for me personally, a lot more time for flexibility. You get to spend time with family, but then also with hobbies and things that you kind of really enjoy outside of work. That maybe
there's a life outside of work. So, and there should be, because that's what makes good at work too. human.
Yeah.
So along the way, what was the best advice you each personally received from anyone that was just, you know, helping you through this?
Just that you can do it and you should go for it.
So, yeah, for years, I was always told, you can do it, just go ahead, take the leap, do it. And then also more recently, don't undervalue yourself or work for free. There's certain things that are passion projects that you want to do, and we've done just because it's a great thing to do for a specific cause, but there's also comes the point where make sure you're not being undervalued or agreeing to do too much, like maybe pro bono, because this is an industry, this is our jobs, and I mean we have to make an income at some point. And our time is valuable and our minds are valuable and what we have to contribute.
So going off of that, what advice would you give to anybody watching at home who's thinking about taking that leap of faith and starting their own company? Start with you, Bianca.
I would say live your life, not someone else's, which happens to be the case in a lot of different like corporate structures and company structures. So just follow your heart. If you follow your instincts, because I felt like so many times I was in a meeting or, you know, talking to whoever and maybe held back on things, and then someone else swooped in with the idea I had in my head. Like, you know, what you have to say is valuable, and you're smart, you know what you're doing, so just go for it and speak up. At the same time, when you speak up, sometimes that doesn't always get taken that well in a lot of situations, but hold your ground, don't be afraid, and just don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, I would say as well, take the leap, but also make sure it's something you're passionate about, because maybe the industry you're in, it might not be for you, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes you just need to hit pause and say, what really like makes me tick? What do I really truly care about? Maybe it's a slightly different variation of what you're working in. So just think about what you're really passionate about, because I think we've really enjoyed this process so much and are so much happier now and really loving what we do, because we do love what we do.
Yeah. Obviously, you guys are female founders, just like ourselves. What are some advantages of being a company run by women?
I feel like right now, more than ever, there are more advantages to being female founded or just being professional females than there ever was before. And not only, you know, government offers all kinds of different like grants and opportunities for you to help female founded businesses succeed, which is great. And also there are more women out there willing to help other women more than ever before.
Yeah.
Like Dale and I work in a super male dominated industry with real estate, and we'd love to see more women up to the top in the executive levels, more than we are seeing now. But at the same time, the women are still the ones making the decisions at the end of the day, even if they aren't the CEOs.
We're smarter than that.
And
Definitely a better
we'll admit
insight.
it. The smart men will admit that too.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful time to be a female founded company. There's so many great ways and great resources, and just the girl power stuff is real right now. Like it's happening, you guys do it, and we're also fully supportive of anyone that, you know, needs our help, especially if they're women. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a woman, but you know, I think we all need to help each other out and mentor each other and, you know, keep our doors open for each other.
Yeah. And I think it's really great that we get to be super creative, and also like open emotionally more. I think that is something that's really stifled when it's more of a male-dominated culture. You have to keep that straight face. You can't ever crack, or you can't ever seem too excited. We get to have fun, but do what we love, and you know, do a really good job.
Girls do better.
Yeah.
Any disadvantages that you've noticed, especially in this male-dominated industry that you guys are in, of being a women-owned business?
I think that when it comes to age, a man is less second-guessed when he's sort of younger, and not that I'm super young by any means, but when you're kind of around our age as a man, you're not thought of as like, oh, does he or she really have enough experience? whatever the task at hand is, or being a true leader. But as a woman, when you're younger, you kind of face the age and the gender kind of combined.
Yeah, I feel like when you're a woman in a room full of, the men, which is like, we're in that more often than not, or were,
and I
span of our careers, you really have to like command the attention and like also in probably as few words as possible too. It's really, it can make you really sweat. Like it's not easy to do that, and we're still in a male-dominated industry in real estate and a million other industries. Being a woman is still, someone's always going to be in the room like looking down on you in some way, or not taking you seriously, or thinking you're too emotional, or whatever, you're too young, whatever.
Or you're too pretty, or you're not pretty enough.
Yeah, that's a whole, dressing is a whole other, there's so many things.
Did she try too hard today, or did she not try hard enough? And,
Right.
Yeah.
So you gotta look the part, talk the part, don't talk too much, don't put too much lipstick on.
If you're too assertive, you're a bitch. If you're not assertive enough, then you're just, the girl in the corner taking everyone else's stars.
Whatever the case, I think you should take up space in whatever room you're in those meetings. And definitely don't be afraid to voice your opinions. They are valuable. Don't ever walk into a room and not contribute anything. And that's a good, to the earlier point, a good piece of advice. A lot of different women in different career different fields have told me too.
Yeah.
Like if you're in there in front of people, you better say something, doesn't matter what it is. And plop your bag down on that side, throw your notebook over here, open your laptop, take up some space, and people need to know you're there, right? You don't want to cower in the corner.
I love that.
So 10 years from now, where do you guys see?
I see us doing the same as kind of where we are now. Obviously growing, but we never want to be too big.
Yeah.
Because the reason we formed Command Collective is to escape that big agency atmosphere where the teams get so big and the higher execs that bring in the new business are the ones that then pass it off to the most junior level staff that have the least amount of experience, and everybody sort of in between is really overloaded and unable to deliver what was promised to a client at the beginning in the pitch. And we always want to avoid that. Like, not only are we pitching clients, but we're also doing the work. So we have to deliver on what's said, and there's no escaping that, the daily face-to-face interaction. So we just want to stay true to what we believe in and what we believe will benefit clients and what's fair financially on both ends, and do really good work and not, just kind of like BS to
Everything Dale said, I see us growing, not too much, just a little bit, and also just contributing to changing like the PR and communications industry little by little for people in it or looking to be in it, and also for our clients, because it's kind of we're kind of experiencing a lot of that. Like, people have been scarred by past experiences in terms of clients. It's like we're always like making up for the ex's mistakes, right? And we get that, it happens, but we want to change that. We're moving forward. That's there's less of that happening. And also, the girl or any young girls and boys looking or interested in the industry, they don't associate it with like grabbing coffee for your boss or doing like dirty, like little, like nothing's above anything. But you want to be able to learn from someone that knows how to do your job in industry
all the time.
I think that's great, and I love, obviously that's one of the perks of having your own company is you're able to say we want to keep it this boutique agency where we have a personal relationship with every single one of our clients. Do you have any plans of bringing a third or hiring people, adding to the team? Like, how would that dynamic work out?
We would love that, and there's so many really special people within our industry and former colleagues and friends that we believe in and feel are super, super talented. So when the time is right and we're able to, we can't wait to do that. We always kind of joke and say we want to save one little publicist at a time from these awful agency environments. Like, I just want to take you on, but I'm not sure I can afford to yet. But when we can, we're like, Dale, stop promising.
No, I mean, totally agree with everything she's saying. At the same time, we also the ability to be involved with each of your clients from start to finish means we're not looking to overextend ourselves. We don't want to be on 12 accounts anymore. We don't. It doesn't work. You can't do a good job. No one can, right? So I think it's gonna balance, like try to balance, like staying small, but then we would definitely add people to our team if it makes sense to execute the project at hand. And that's part of the collective too. Like we know so many amazing people that, you know, if our client wants something, make it happen, and we know who to call for it. So
Thank you guys so much for sharing this story and sharing your journey of how you turned this crazy global pandemic into something amazing and brought your dream to life and formed this partnership, and now are bringing, you know, this amazing company that you formed out there to everyone else. Any final words of wisdom for Team ELEVARI watching at home?
just go for it. Believe in yourself, and if you need a pep talk, you can call us. Hit us up. We're here. Yeah, we won't charge you for it. Just, you know, always be willing to help and to go forward and keep your doors open, keep your mind open, especially if you're like in that kind of what we went through where you're like in between jobs and you're sort of at like this crossroads or turning point. Take advantage of it and don't keep it to yourself. Like consult with the people closest to you, because you can collect all of that and really make the best decision.
Yeah, and if like you're at all unhappy or frustrated in a situation or a current role, then it's not the end of the world if you want to take me and figure out what will it take to make me happy and make me want to get up in the morning and not get my car going to
And I'm always inspired by, and probably everybody else, inspired by people that like build their career paths a little bit differently, not like, you know, get the degree and then do everything like according to whatever plan, climbing up the ladder. The most successful people are the ones that are just like kind of snakes and laddering the whole thing. So don't worry too much about it. You know, checking off certain boxes at a certain time.
Because it's what's supposed to be done. Just do what's right for you.